Y'all absolutely won't believe the explosive drama that's currently setting the hip-hop world on fire. I mean, we're talking about the kind of tea that's so hot it could melt diamonds. The industry is absolutely buzzing with this absolutely scandalous situation involving Drake and Jim Jones, and trust me when I tell you, this story has more twists and turns than a roller coaster at Six Flags. And just when everyone thought they had seen everything this industry could possibly throw at us, who decides to make their dramatic entrance? None other than the ultimate pot stirrer himself, the king of controversy, 50 Cent. I simply cannot emphasize enough how perfectly timed his appearance was, bringing his signature brand of drama that literally had everyone's social media notifications blowing up. The way Jim Jones shocked absolutely everyone by stepping into Drake's corner during this explosive legal battle with Universal Music Group. It's the plot twist nobody saw coming. Now, some people are trying to frame this whole situation as some noble crusade for artists' rights, but darling, we all know there are more layers to this story than a wedding cake. The tea is piping hot, and I'm here to serve every single drop.
From a legal perspective, it's an interesting move on Drake's part. Notably, he's not suing Kendrick Lamar, right? He's suing Universal, which reps both of these artists.
Now, hold on to your designer handbags because I'm about to spill the most scorching tea of 2025. And believe me, this one's so hot it could start a forest fire. We're watching what might be the most dramatic, most earth-shattering lawsuit unfold right before our very eyes. Our beloved Canadian heartthrob, Drake, has done the unthinkable. He's taking on the absolute titan of the music industry, Universal Music Group, and the catalyst for all this drama, it all traces back to Kendrick Lamar's track, Not Like Us, which, between you and me, was about as subtle as a nuclear explosion when it came to targeting Drake.
Including, like actual physical that he could have incurred in financial harm. So they get into the first couple pages. Now, a couple things that we learned in this lawsuit within the first 5 pages that we didn't know. Remember when the shooting happened at Drake's home back in May?
Now, darling, let me break down this absolutely fascinating legal situation that has everyone's group chats exploding. Drake's legal team is serving up some seriously spicy accusations, and they're not just throwing shade. They're casting an entire eclipse. They're claiming that UMG is basically turning Drake's reputation into their personal ATM, profiting off every bit of drama surrounding our favorite Canadian superstar. The audacity of it all simply takes my breath away. This lawsuit has literally split the music community right down the middle. It's giving very much choosing sides for the most dramatic dodgeball game ever energy. Some industry insiders are treating Drake like he's the Martin Luther King Jr. of the music industry, fighting for the rights of artists everywhere. Others, well, they're rolling their eyes so hard I'm worried they might actually strain something. Drake's team is working overtime to convince everyone this isn't about rap beef. But honey, in this industry, when is it ever not about rap beef? They're positioning this as some grand stand for artistic integrity and reputation protection, and I have to say the PR spin is absolutely delicious. And then, serving us a dose of reality we didn't ask for but definitely needed, DJ Academics came through with the most dramatic warning since the invention of caution signs. He basically told Drake that UMG has a black belt in humbling artists, and they don't hesitate to use it.
So that's very interesting, and that's going to be very operative, not only in them trying to get this dismissed, but also in the federal case subsequently. Why? Because Drake is filed for defamation. Universal's kind of playing, it's a pre-card almost, for Evergy. Because now, once music gets to a certain level,
I'm saying
very well said.
Like everything Universal give me is up and it's stuck. Yeah. It's not, yo, let's amicably see if we can, let's have a mediator.
So, naturally, because the hip-hop community simply cannot resist picking sides in any drama, everyone started declaring their allegiance faster than teenagers at a Twilight premiere. And oh, my word, Joe Budden didn't just enter the conversation, he kicked down the door, threw a smoke bomb, and started spitting absolute fire. During his podcast, which honestly deserves an Emmy for dramatic commentary, he had the absolute nerve to call Drake's moves Karen-like. I literally dropped my morning green juice when I heard that. He's out here preaching about how hip-hop used to be all about creativity and wordplay, lamenting that it's devolved into something straight out of Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Disgusting. It's nasty, man. He, like we said, he dropped the
petition
and has now filed the defamation and harassment Smith suit.
But the interesting thing in there was UMG's position, which is
The tension in the hip-hop world is so thick right now you could cut it with a diamond-encrusted knife. We're watching this epic battle between tradition and innovation unfold, and honestly, it's better than any reality show I've ever seen. But wait until you hear about Jim Jones stepping into this perfectly orchestrated chaos, because honey, that's when things went from dramatic to absolutely theatrical.
Kendrick Lamar, which everybody seems to think that this lawsuit is about. He didn't sue Kendrick Lamar. He sued UMG, which is the biggest company that has the biggest bag, Nick. You think I ain't gonna sue Amazon if I ain't get a chance to? Me suing everybody.
Picture this scene, darlings. Jim Jones arrives at the Broken Fronton podcast studio, and instead of adding fuel to the already raging inferno, which, let's be honest, we were all expecting, he actually becomes Drake's unofficial spokesperson. I know, I had to pick my jaw up off the floor too. He made it abundantly clear that Drake isn't trying to start World War III with Kendrick. This is all about taking down the mighty UMG.
Tracy Morgan just caught that bag. We was happy for him, right?
Of course, it was a car accident. He almost lost his life.
We not gonna be happy about somebody who get a bag from one of the biggest companies that been raping everybody anyway.
But hold on to your designer seats, because the tea gets even hotter. Jim started drawing these absolutely wild comparisons between Drake's lawsuit and Tracy Morgan's settlement with Walmart. I mean, the reach was so far, he could have touched Mars. He went all in, calling it a power move, and defending himself against accusations of clout chasing with the passion of a televangelist. The way he described Drake's actions as having James Bond-level boldness. I simply cannot with the dramatics. But also, I'm living for every second of it. Jim was really out here painting Drake as David taking on Goliath. And I have to say, it was kind of inspiring in that watching millionaires fight billionaires kind of way. He even had the audacity to throw shade at Universal for their delayed responses to Drake's case, suggesting they're moving slower than LA traffic during rush hour. The fans were absolutely eating it up like it was the last slice of pizza at a party.
Amazon, if I ain't get a chance to, me suing everybody. Any one of them companies I get a chance to playing at that level to sue for billions, I'm going for it. Are you crazy?
But honey, you know how this industry works? Not everyone was sipping the Kool-Aid Jim was serving. Critics came for him faster than sample sales at Saks, calling him everything but a child of God. But Jim? Oh, darling. Jim clapped back with the force of 1,000 thunderclaps. He basically said if he had the chance to sue Amazon or Universal for billions, he'd do it faster than you can say, "Where do I sign?" The nerve, the audacity, the complete and utter transparency. I'm absolutely living for every moment of it. Now this is where the drama reaches levels that would make Shakespeare jealous. 50 Cent, who has never in his life seen a pot he didn't want to stir, decided to cannonball into this situation like it was the last pool party of summer. He took to Instagram, because where else would you air out your grievances in 2025, and absolutely roasted Jim Jones to a crisp. He basically accused Jim of being the most ambitious clout chaser since the invention of social media, suggesting he was inserting himself into business that was about as much his as my private jet in the Bahamas, which sadly doesn't exist. This whole situation reignited an old feud faster than you can say hip-hop beef. The spark that lit this particular powder keg? Jim's appearance on Justin LeBoy's show, where he decided to run his mouth about 50 and Cameron with all the caution of a bull in a china shop. And baby, when I tell you he did not hold back, I mean he was spilling tea like a knocked-over kettle. He was laughing about their comments, claiming they were obsessed with him, and suggesting he'd done more for their careers than their own management. 50 Cent, being the master of mess that he is, came back with more receipts than a shopaholic after Black Friday. He started bringing up those federal informant rumors from the 691 trial, bestowing upon Jim the shade-tastic nickname Individual One, which I have to say is the kind of clever shade that deserves its own trademark. The way 50 keeps bringing up these court transcripts and wiretap conversations, it's giving very much, I've been waiting years to use this information. And then, just to make sure the pot was thoroughly stirred, 50 started questioning why Jim was the only one from the Tar three-way crew who managed to avoid getting arrested. The implications, the insinuations, the absolute tea of it all. It was the kind of shade that makes Eclipse look like a sunny day. But wait, because this drama train was just pulling out of the station, Cameron decided to hop on his talk show, It Is What It Is, and spill some ancient tea about Jim Jones that had been steeping since the early 2000s. The way he dragged up their history, it was like watching a real-time documentary about betrayal, but with better wardrobe choices. Cam accused Jim of being the Benedict Arnold of hip-hop, bringing up how he sided with 50 Cent during that infamous Dipset G-Unit beef back in the day. And then, oh my word, He started questioning Jim's Harlem credentials with the precision of a forensic investigator. The disrespect was so thick you could spread it on toast.
What the f is you talking about, man? You are from the Bronx, bro. You are not from Harlem. Why do you keep thinking that you are from Harlem, bro? You are not from Harlem. I did not grow up with you, man. I did not grow up with you. Contrary to what you believe.
Cameron really went there. He started painting Jim as some kind of fanboy who was more desperate to be part of Dipset than a contestant on The Bachelor is to get a rose. According to Cam, Jim invited them over after hearing their freestyle, and the way Cam told it, it was giving very much notice me senpai energy. But the tea gets even hotter than a summer sidewalk in Phoenix. Cam brought up this absolutely wild story about Jim allegedly running away from BMF to the ocean. I mean, the visual alone is enough to send me into orbit.
Do you ever hear me talk about when you ran on me when BMF pulled up? When you ran in the hotel, they chased you to the beach. And lucky, you went and got a couple niggas, and I know these niggas, they my niggas too. You tell them you got a problem, they jump in the car, they don't know who you got a problem with.
And just when you thought the drama couldn't possibly get any more intense, Dame Dash swooped in like a drama-seeking missile to confirm everything. He backed up Cameron's story about Jim trying to get him jumped at his art gallery, in front of his woman no less. The disrespect level was so astronomical, NASA had to measure it.
20 years ago, however many years ago, I thought it was all good. I had no problem thinking, okay, he tricked niggas out their spot, came to the spot. I know 50 said it.
This isn't just some random beef that popped up overnight, sweeties. This is years of tension finally boiling over like a forgotten pot on the stove. Cameron and Jim have been going at it longer than some people's marriages last, and 50's little comment about fixing Dipset just poured industrial-grade gasoline on an already raging inferno. Cam's been accusing Jim of betrayal. Jim's been calling Cam petty. It's like watching the messiest divorce ever, but with better soundtracks.
Slicey, 12 years. His godson, that was 13 years old, 8 years. Shotty, he was trying to be 12 years.
The back and forth between these two is more exhausting than a cardio class after a 3-day weekend. Poor Joel Santana is stuck in the middle like a referee at a boxing match where both fighters decided the rules are optional. The fans are absolutely desperate for a reunion, but at this point, it's looking about as likely as me giving up my morning gossip sessions.
Cam and 50, the Cam and 50 beef was like a public display. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was from the radio, Hot 97. You know what I'm saying? 50 went up there and said some things, you know what I'm saying, about Koch and...
Jules' perspective just adds this layer of sadness to the whole thing. It's giving very much, can't we all just get along? Energy. But darling, in this industry, peace is about as rare as a genuine compliment in a Real Housewives reunion. Now, hold on to your designer seats because this tea is still brewing. Word on the street is that Jim's been in the studio longer than a chef preparing a Michelin star meal, cooking up some diss tracks aimed at both Cam and 50.
Jimmy Jones, Jimmy Jones. Yes, sir. I want you to know one thing. Jimmy Jones. Yeah. What you have to say about it.
This all came after Jim basically told Cam and 50 to stop obsessing over him during his appearance on Justin Leo's podcast. The nerve of it all.
It is, man.
Keeping it Cam right now. He just did the interview with 50.
For the younger audience, we had like a rap battle thing at one time. And
these diss tracks, if they ever see the light of day, could bring back that old school rap battle energy we've all been missing since the last time Drake and Pusha T went at it. But honey, Jim isn't just stopping at music. He's trying to turn this whole mess into a business opportunity. Talk about turning lemons into a limited edition lemonade brand. So here we are, darlings, watching this absolutely delicious drama unfold like the most expensive reality show never made. Jim's support of Drake has opened up more cans of worms than a bait shop during fishing season. With 50 Cent throwing shade dark enough to cause an eclipse and Dipset's internal drama hotter than a summer sidewalk, who knows what explosive development we'll see next? Will Jim's bold move pay off like a winning lottery ticket, or will it backfire like a bad Instagram filter? Can Dipset ever get back together, or is this the final nail in their designer coffin? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, sweeties, and don't you dare miss our next video. We'll be spilling all the tea about 50 Cent's latest industry moves that are shaking things up more than a professional bartender. Trust me, this is one episode you won't want to miss.